Hey there, before I begin this video at all, I just would like to preface this fact and make it very known that I do not draw, nor do I have any artistic talent, so do not come in here expecting some type of Picasso work is all that I'm saying. But yeah, welcome, this is KonekoKitten, and this is mine Draw My Life video for YouTube. This was originally going to be made right when I hit 300,000 subscribers, but I ran into some technical difficulties and I couldn't get it out right away. But I would like to say thank you all so much for 300,000 subs. To be able to make videos like this every day and be able to support myself from it is really a dream come true, and every single person that watches my videos and they even subscribed, I can't be more thankful for. Really, thank you. See, I've been watching YouTube since the very beginning of the website, and ever since then I've seen a lot of YouTubers that I like personally make these sort of draw my life videos, and I never thought that I would be making one myself one day, so it's really cool that I'm able to do this for you all. But I believe that is enough introduction for this video. Let's begin. So the story of how I was born is actually quite an interesting one, and it wasn't just like I was born, it was a series of events before that. So my dad and my mom already had a kid, which is my eldest brother Nick, and at one point my dad thought that my brother Nick would be very lonely without a brother or a sister, so they both agreed, and you know, the pregnancy thing happened, and my mom went to the doctor one day to, see the heartbeats and the baby and see how everything was doing, and the doctor just stopped for a moment and was dead silent. My mom was like, "What's wrong?" And the doctor is like, "Ma'am, I don't hear just one heartbeat. I hear two heartbeats," like most mothers when they figure out this sort of news that they're having twins. She took it very hard and was not prepared for it, but a couple months later, on December 18th, 1998, both me and my brother Chase were born into the world, and that is where the story of KonekoKitten begins. Finally, so I grew up with my two other brothers, obviously Nick and Chase, and both of them were interesting in their own different ways, but I was a very weird kid. Like, I'm going to say that right off the bat, and my parents will both agree on that. Naturally, I actually have a story about my youth in that regard. I remember when I was very young, about 5 or 6 years old, both my parents would take all three of us to soccer practice to try to get us into sports. And instead of playing soccer, I would instead run off from the soccer field and chase butterflies, as opposed to playing the game. I'm just saying I was a little bit interesting, but, it's charming at best, and my weirdness was combined with a bunch of hobbies that I was into. Like, I was really into cooking. I thought that people playing guitar were cool. I thought skateboarding was cool. I was good at none of these, obviously, but it was very interesting for me to be into when I was a younger kid. I even had, like, a really strange obsession with the weather. Like, I would always watch the Weather Channel and know what the forecast was, and my parents would think I was a little bit weird for that, but, who are they to judge their kid being into some interesting things? Then one day my father came home from work and connected this weird contraption that I have never seen before to the television, and he let me play on this thing that I had no idea what it was, but it was the Nintendo 64, and this was my first introduction to gaming at all, and the first video game that I had ever played was Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64. Thanks to my dad, and I was in love with it instantly. It's one of the most important games of my life just because of how sentimental it is. My father soon after, my father realized how much of a hit was with the kids, so he decided to buy a bunch of different games for the N64, and I played everything, dude. I played Super Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, Glover. I played it all, man. It was a great thing. And then somewhere down the line, my father got the family a computer to use, and I was then introduced to the wild aspect of the internet. And this was the first time I ever had been exposed to this kind of thing, an infinite realm of information, and we can do anything on it now. My father made it very clear to be careful in the internet. We promised that we would, but the very next week we got the computer infected of a malware virus. Sorry, Dad, now back in elementary school I wasn't exactly the most popular kid, but I still got around, and some elementary school friends still have added to this day, and are still in my life. Somehow I had some girlfriends back then and everything. I was a pretty good kid for the most part. I wasn't really a troublemaker or anything. On many occasions, though, I was considered the class clown, and one fateful day my brother was on the computer and he was looking up something specific, so we typed in robots on the Google search tab and misspelled that, and what showed up instead was Roblox, which he knew would pique my interest immediately, so he told me about it, and I obviously was very interested in, and instantly, being a person that was very into Legos as a kid, I was like an online Lego platformer. Yes, sign me up, please. And then, obviously I told all my elementary school friends about Roblox and thought it was really cool, and that's really all we did after school. We'd get online and play some sword fight in the Heights and have a really fun time. Middle school would come around finally, and I still had a lot of friends and everything, but I finally learned how to swear, and I started swearing very excessively because I thought it was the cool and edgy thing to do, and all of my old friends thought I was really weird for that. I had my life really going for me as a kid. I had good friends, good teachers, I had really everything that I needed. A nice positive environment, everything was really going the way that I needed it to. And then one day I came home and my father and my mother sat all three of us down on the couch and explained to us in their own wording. I still remember it, that Mommy and Daddy would be better if they were apart as a young kid. This hit me really hard. That's the moment where my childlike innocence really broke anything that I ever knew. Everything that I had was about to go away, and I didn't understand why my father then moved out of the house, and I went from seeing my father every day at the table for dinner, so about once or twice a year I had to, from Virginia to Florida, without any choice in the matter. I lost all of my friends, I lost my teachers, I lost everything, and I had no idea what happened to me or why it was occurring to me at all. And now that I'm an adult, obviously I get the picture. I understand why they divorced. Love is tough, but as a kid, kids don't really expect that kind of thing to happen to them. I went from being a very happy-go-lucky individual, extroverted and willing to talk to people, to very introverted, scared, worried, anxious, and I don't blame either my parents for that, but it was a trust dynamic that was broken, and I had no idea how to cope with those feelings, because if my mom wasn't really there for me that much, and I had really nobody in my life to help just go with those feelings, and I got into high school finally, and he started off pretty good at first. My grades are pretty solid, and over time they would just go down and diminish, and I talked about that. I dropped out of high school and everything, but there's a bit of an extra story to that, and I think I need to be open about this story for this video. I think most people that have been watching my content for a bit are aware of the fact that I am trans. If you're not, it's because I don't ever really talk about it. I like to keep my personal life off of my YouTube channel for the most part. But I had a girlfriend in high school, home of which was really abusive towards me, and I didn't really stand up to do anything about it, and I told her about these feelings that I had and dysphoria and everything, and when we broke up and I finally had enough and broke it off, she outed me and told everyone about these feelings that I was conveying and saying a bunch of awful, terrible, dehumanizing things regarding feelings that I could not control at all. And that's to this day why I don't really ever talk about it in public spaces and keep it really to myself. And due to the stress and pressure with my grades flunking and just being not motivated at all, I eventually just ended up dropping out and for 2 years worked at Subway, which I just made a video on yesterday, and I felt like I was trapped. I had no real way out of it, and my mentality was really, really bad. During this time, I was really depressed and sad individual. They make matters worse during this bad moment of mentality. I came home after work one day to find one of my best online friends had taken their life. It's something that has affected me emotionally way more than I have light show, and losing a friend sucks. It really, really does. It's been 2 years, and I still really miss Karen a lot. So when 2016, on a whim, I just randomly made this YouTube channel, there was no real inspiration behind it. I didn't expect to come into this and be the next, big PewDiePie or something, but it helped me significantly with stress because I could take my mind off of bad things and get into video ideas, and I even built a small community that liked my content. And it made me feel really good about myself eventually. In around 2017, my motivation with YouTube would stagnate just like it did with school, and my uploads would become very infrequent, and I would lose a pretty significant portion of the audience that I had built because obviously I wasn't uploading. But then at the end of 2017 and onwards into 2018, I had an epiphany. I thought to myself, I'm going to make this YouTube thing work. I'm going to. And when a person is set with a goal, they will make it work. It's quite cocky thinking for quite a tall order, but as they say, confidence sells. So at this point, I had learned how to use a better editing software. I learned how to use Photoshop better, make my videos presentable, and my videos suddenly started getting a lot of views. My channel would start growing for the first time that I would ever see real substantial growth through my channel. And then the summer of 2018, one of my videos took off really hard, and I woke up one morning from in bed, and my channel too skyrocketed, and this is the moment where I dropped everything and became a full-time YouTuber ever since that day in summer of 2018. And with that decision to go full-time, my editing improved, my channel improved, and the channel started growing even more. I met great YouTuber friends. I started getting a lot of people to help me, amazing fans. And it's really awesome how far we come, considering that this channel was made basically on a whim. I never really expected it to get this far. It's a very generic thing to say, but I really didn't. I'm only 20 years old. How about a lot of life left to live? I'm very young and fortunate to have this opportunity, but I'm currently living my best life doing what I'm doing. I've achieved a thing that many people are not capable of in this world, unfortunately, and that is genuine happiness. So that's why I'm thankful every morning to get up and, read all your comments and, be happy to make another video, because it really does make me happy to be doing this. And it's the first time it happened a really long time in my life. One more thing is I'm very humbled that my audience is capable of putting all my weirdness, my personal endeavors, my quirks aside to just enjoy the content that I produce and, build a community of our own, really. I really, really appreciate that and respect that a lot. And for the final thing, a lot of people have been very curious as to what my name is now that I am in transition. My name is Luna. I really respect you and appreciate you for watching my content and following media. But that is really all that I'm going to talk about today. That pretty much concludes to draw my life and my side of the story. I have a lot more life to live, and I hope I can keep building it along the way. I think it was so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like on it and consider subscribing if you know, because join the Connector Kit and can get to the end. You know what your Roblox video is and other fun stuff, but until next time, I am Connect. Oh, and I hopefully see you guys girls whenever in my next video tomorrow. Catch you later. I know this is very different from my regular videos, but I really wanted to get this done for 300K. Thank you so much. Catch you soon.